This is lesson number 2 in the Python beginner course, and in this lesson we are going to talk about some basic Python functions that you can use. If you don't know how to use Python, you don't know how to install Python, this is the second lesson. Then go back to the first lesson to install Python on your machine. So let's get right to it. In the last lesson we installed our terminal. This is iTerm, and here you can do some actions with Python. So let's start with the most basic thing that Python can do, which is printing. So let's start, as all computer science courses begin, with hello world. So if you want to print something to the console, you can use the command print. You need to follow the command with brackets and then put a string inside the brackets, which means using quotes. So hello world, let's capitalize it because we are adults, and then enter, and I have hello world printed into my console. So this is the first thing, that's the print function. Now you want to do something a little bit more complex. So let's start using variables. So instead of just typing hello world into the print command, I will now put hello world into my new variable, which I'll call message. And then I follow the message name with an equal sign, and then I type my string, hello world. Now nothing showed up because nothing needs to show up because that was a variable. But if I do print brackets msg message, I have hello world. Now if I were to change what hello world means, what message means, I would do msg equals new message. And then if I do the exact same command as before, print msg, I get new message instead of hello world. So variables can change, and that's something you should keep in mind going forward. Now let's start with some basic arithmetic. You can use number 1 equals 1 and number 2 equals 100, and then I can do some basic math. Number 1 plus number 2 equals 101. Sounds reasonable. If I do number 2 minus number 1, I get 99. And if I do number 2 divided by number 1, I get 100. But now there's something strange. I get 100 with a dot and a 0. That means that division turns the result number into a floating number. If I do number 1 divided by number 2, I get 0.01. If I wanted to get just the fraction of the number instead of the whole number, I can do number 1 divided by number 2, number 1 modulo number 2, and then I get 1. So modulo means the part that wasn't divided. And in this case, it was 1, because 1 can't be divided by 100 and get a complete number. There's always a fraction. Okay, so these were some basic arithmetic. you can always do something like number 2 and then use asterisk to then do something like get 10,000 multiplication. Asterisk means multiplication and the slash means division. You can also just do this with numbers. You could just write 200 and then you have 20,000. Now, an interesting thing that you can do in Python is you can also do some basic arithmetic on actual strings. So for example, I can do str1 equals my name is and a space, and str2 equals Oren, and then I can do str1 plus str2 equals my name is Oren. Okay, so these were all the basic Python actions that I wanted to show you in this video. Now let's move on to something more complex like if statements. So click on this video right here and let's talk about if statements.